And the person that organized today's Fire Adam Gase flyover, and also organized the Fire John Idzik flyover 5 years ago, is Jason Koeppel. And he reached out to us, and we're going to pop on right now and see what's behind this. Jason, thanks for coming on the show. How you doing?
Thanks for having me on, guys. How you doing?
We're doing great. Why do you want him fired now? 8 games into a 4-year contract.
Well, look, I mean, I think his resume basically speaks for itself at this point. I mean, he's got 3 years with the Dolphins that, obviously his first year was pretty good. He made the playoffs, but after that, it's been dreadful. He tore that team apart, and we see where the Dolphins are currently at. He came in here. We tried to, I was not a big fan of the hire at the time. Tried to drink the Kool-Aid and kind of see what happens. But look, I mean, this team has just been dreadful. I mean, there's no arguing that this team, that the product that's out there is just unacceptable. And as a season ticket holder, my family has 5 PSLs in that stadium, $15,000 a piece. Pay $75,000 we sent the Jets for a product that is just dreadful. That every single season by October, the games don't count anymore. And, the people who are donating to this GoFundMe so that we can do these things, they're fed up with ownership. And so the fire Adam Gase plan, as I said in our statement, Adam Gase, in our opinion, was the wrong hire, and that's playing out in front of our eyes. But at the same time, this is also, trying to put pressure on ownership, because we have a guy in the building right now, Joe Douglas, if having Adam Gase here brought Joe Douglas and he turned out to be the next great GM, then, then I can deal with that. Then we suffered through a year of Adam Gase, but the guy's respected around the league. He's got a good pedigree, and what we want is for Adam Gase to be gone after this year, and for Joe Douglas to be in charge of hiring the next coach, because the people who have been in charge, the Johnsons of hiring these, Mike McCagnon and Todd Bowles and on John Idzik and on and on and on, and these arranged marriages, it just never ends, and they don't learn. So we're worried that Chris Johnson, after this season, will go back for a second season of Adam Gase, and we can't live with that.
And I understand your frustration for sure. I did the Jets for 16 years, so I've heard the fans. I know the fans. The reason I don't know why these things necessarily work is the person that hired Gase is going to be the person that replaces Gase. So why not specifically go after the Johnsons? I understand that they're not going to sell, Jason, but why would you trust that if he did fire Gase that he would hire the right guy? Why do you believe that he would allow Joe Douglas to hire his own person?
Well, that's our problem with him. So that's why we're putting this out there. I mean, getting Adam Gase out of here is just the first step in the process. Like, we need to make sure that Chris Johnson and Woody Johnson have no part of being involved in any head coaching search. They're not qualified, in my opinion, to do that. And the results speak for themselves. Guys, this is almost 10 years we're going on now. And, it's just unacceptable. As people who invest in this team, as people who travel around with this team and go to the games and buy their jerseys and all this stuff, we expect a professional team out there. I mean, this is just awful. And I understand where you guys are coming from, because I do understand, like as I said in my statement, that, we don't enjoy doing this stuff and going to these lengths to send a message to ownership. But, as fans, what's our recourse?
But here's the one thing that worries me, though, Jason. I think that you would agree that the Johnsons want to win, just like Dolan wants to win. I think Met fans have a real complaint because the Wilpons don't spend the money to win, but the Johnsons do. So, I mean, it seems like the inherent problem is that, as Don said, the people that are making the decisions make bad decisions. They're not afraid to spend money.
No, absolutely. I'm with you guys.
So, but you can't force them to make smart decisions, Jason. Okay. I mean, you could try, but that doesn't mean that all of a sudden they're going to find religion and bring in a Bill Parcells type.
Right, but Joe Douglas is in the building already, right? So Joe Douglas is there, and by all, his guy's got 3 Super Bowl rings to his name, right? So why can't we just, put Joe Douglas out there?
But aren't you worried that Joe Douglas and Gase are tied at the hip? Gase got Douglas the job.
I understand that, but Joe Douglas has a 6-year contract here, right? So
and Gase has a 4-year deal
after Adam Gase is gone.
Well, I mean, not if it works out. Gase has a 4-year deal, so I mean, again, at the end of the year, I can understand evaluating if they're 2-14, but Jason, I think you're wasting your money. I don't think they listen to fans like that. I just don't think they do.
Right, but you know what, guys? I mean, look, we did it with John Idzik and showed fan disgust. I mean, look, a waste of money is all relative, right? I mean, anyone can go up to somebody that's standing online at MetLife Stadium buying a $10 beer and tell them they'd be better off donating that money to charity. But you know, like, where does that draw the line? At a certain point, people are allowed to freely spend their money. These are, you know.
Oh, you're right.
No, that's true. I'm just saying it worked with Idzik, and they replaced him, and that didn't work.
Right. Well, that's why we're going after the Johnsons at this point, because Adam Gase, like I said, is just another example of the underlying issue with the Jets, and so our point is, yeah, you could try to bring back Adam Gase next year and be stubborn about that, but we don't have to support the team. We can be fans.
Listen, I know from what it's like being a fan, right? And you want to make a statement. Have you ever considered canceling your season tickets? Have you ever considered not going to the games? Just knowing that if you get enough people to do that, Jason, I think that would probably go a longer way than flying an airplane over. If you affect their bottom line and don't buy the season tickets, and it did happen. Look at all the people that ended up not being on the waiting list when they actually added the PSLs. So people will stop spending their money if they're pushed far enough. Have you ever thought, with the amount of money, you just spent tens of thousands of dollars on tickets, have you ever thought of protesting in that fashion?
Well, let me tell you what I'm doing to answer your question. I currently live in Florida, okay? I have season tickets and I fly up for all the games, okay? I love this team. And I don't want to cancel having season tickets. I love tailgating with my friends and family. This is a tradition going back to when I'm 7 years old. You know, I've been going to the games with my father since 1986, okay? So we don't want to cancel the tickets. This is what we do as a family, right? So, you know, but that said, the Jets are playing the Giants this year, okay? Like, that's a game you would never see me miss. And I'm sitting in my apartment in Florida. I am not going to. I refuse to fly up. I refuse to go to any more games this year, and I refuse to go to any more games. While
I cashed your check already, though.
I understand that. Well, that's the problem. So what you just said is exactly why fans have to go to these lengths to get a message through, because they already have our money. They already have our PSL money. So what is the recourse right now to send a message to ownership that, look, I can live with if Adam Gase makes it till the end of the season. I can't live with him coming back for another year. I just can't. It's enough is enough with these ownership decisions. There has to be a certain point where the Johnsons look at this and they say, you know what we're doing is not working. So let's just delegate responsibility and stay out of it. I mean, there's no shame in that, and we will continue to support the product if that's the case. We don't want to walk away from this.
Well, why did you choose the west side of Manhattan?
Because we wanted to get a message out there, and the Jets have New York on their chest, their New Jerseys, and they play in New Jersey, so we figured that was a perfect corridor to fly it right down the middle and get a message to Woody and Chris.
Well, I feel for you, and I think they probably know it's not working, but maybe something like this resonates more with them. And boy, I'll tell you what, Jason, God bless you. You probably have disposable income to spend money.
Well, he's flying up from Florida, but listen, I don't want to judge. We don't like getting in people's pockets, Michael. You don't like
$15,000 for the PSL to watch this team, flying up every weekend. I mean, 8 times a year.
What I'd be angry at is how Roger Goodell and company actually fashioned the PSL as a good investment. You couldn't get that $15,000 back now if you tried.
That's the truth.
That is money that was set fire to around football. I think fans should sue every NFL team that pulled the PSL nonsense. It's just awful. Imagine holding a fan base up for extortion. You want your tickets? You have to pay us money to buy your tickets. It's amazing that they got away with it. And now those PSLs are worth zip. And you probably, Jason, you could correct me if I'm wrong, you probably have a hard time getting rid of tickets.
Hard time getting rid of tickets by the time that October, early November hits, we can't even give them away. We have friends that we call up in early November when the Jets are, and going through one of their 4 and 12. This is 5 out of the last 6 years. We cannot even give the tickets away. People laugh at me. I go on my Twitter account and I post them. It's lucky if somebody even takes them. And I have thousands of Jet fan followers. And I have club seats. So that's the point where they are worthless. Yeah. Absolutely worthless.
Jason, I hope you have happiness in your future fandom, because right now it's probably very tough to be a Jet fan. So
good luck, man.
Good luck.
I got the Mets and Knicks too, man. So I got a lot.
Oh boy. Well, the Mets could give you some happiness. The Knicks, I'm not quite sure if that's in the future either.
Yeah, well, I appreciate your time, guys, and having me on. I just wanted to clear some of that stuff up so you know where we're coming from.
All right, Jason. Thank you, man.